A very good morning to all of us who are present here today on this for this guest lecture being delivered today, organized by the Department of Forestry, Dolphin PG Institute of Biomedical and Natural Sciences. As a child, the world of fungi used to bring up only the images of mushroom and bread mold. And as one grew up and started studying fungi, the depths of the fascinating and beautiful world of fungi started unfolding. If you walk through the forest, especially in the current season, you're likely to see an array of forest fungi, ranging from delicate tan mini umbrellas to fleshy white soft balls of foot-long orange-yellow shells growing out of the rotten logs. They come in variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. The mushroom we see on the outside is only a small part of the fungus. Most of the fungus body or the mycelium is hidden underground or inside the dead tree or the fallen log upon which it is growing. Fungi are critical to the health of the forest, decomposing wood debris and helping trees obtain required nutrients. The common man and non-specialist has a very limited knowledge of this fascinating world. Today's lecture is organized to unravel for us this mysterious world, and there can be no better person to do so than the day's speaker, Dr. NSK Harsh, whose passion and dedication to the field is known to anyone who pursues mycology. Without taking much time, I now request my colleague, Dr. Sandhya Goswami, Associate Professor and Coordinator of the Undergraduate Program of Forestry at the Dolphin Institute, to formally welcome the participants and also introduce our esteemed speaker for the day. Thank you so much. Dr. Sandhya, please.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good morning to all. On behalf of Department of Forestry, Dolphin PG Institute of Biomedical and Natural Sciences, Dehradun, and my own behalf, I, Dr. Sandhya Goswami, extend a warm welcome to all parties present here to attend distinguished lecture on forest fungi. It is my privilege to welcome very learned scientist and today's distinguished speaker, Dr. Nirmal Sudhir Kumar Harsh. We are privileged to have you amidst us, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome Chief Patron Shri Arvind Gupta, Chairman, Dolphin Institute, Dr. Shalja Pant, Principal, Dr. Arut Kumar, Director, Dolphin Institute, Professor S. Biswas, Head of the Department of Forestry, Dolphin Institute. My hearty welcome to all the participants from various organizations and the parts of country. I also formally welcome Dr. Mandeep Kaur, convener of the program, and the members of organizing committee, Dr. A.K. Unyal, Dr. Tahir Nazir, Dr. Rashmi Chamoli, Dr. B.P.S. Rawat, and Mr. Manish Kumar. The Dolphin PG Institute is located in the outskirts of Dehradun, the state capital of Uttarakhand, state of India. The institute is surrounded by serene and lush green forests. The institute is affiliated to HNV Gadwal Central University, Srinagar, Uttarakhand, and is accredited by UGC. Dolphin Institute offers a large number of career-oriented UGC-approved courses in the field of forestry, microbiology, botany, zoology, agriculture, horticulture, biotechnology, biochemistry, pharmaceutical chemistry, physiotherapy, etc. The institute is committed to providing quality education to the young students and to develop them as professionals in the field of biomedical and natural sciences. Forestry is the art and science of conservation and management of tree resources, including natural and production forests. Department of Forestry at the Dolphin Institute was established during 2002-2003. The main objective of the department is to educate and develop skills in the field of forestry and allied subjects among the students at graduate and postgraduate level. This is with a view to creating and implementing systems that allow forests to continue a sustainable provision of environmental supplies and services. During this COVID 19 pandemic, we are working towards students' well being and making it a new normal. In the last few months, we have organized several national and international webinars right from the lockdown one, including celebration of various international and national importance days. Now I take this opportunity to introduce today's learned speaker, Dr. Nirmal Sudhir Kumar Harsh. Dr. Harsh has done MSc in 1978 and PhD in 1982 in botany from Kumaon University, Nainital. He worked at Tropical Forest Research Institute, Jabalpur from 1984 to 1999 and thereafter gave his services at Forest Research Institute, Dehradun and retired as Scientist G and Group Coordinator Research, Head of Office, Dean Research from there. Currently, he is working as International Forest Disease Specialist for Asian Development Bank, trade facilitation, improved sanitary and phytosanitary handling in Greater Mekong Sub-region Trade Project in Laos. His major field of research is diseases of nurseries, plantations, and forests, and their control, including biological control, bioremediation of pollutants, taxonomy of fungi and mushroom cultivation, with vast professional experience of 39 plus years, with 178 research papers and 7 books in his credit. He guided 33 PhD degree students and more than 100 MSc dissertation students from various universities in India. He provided and providing advisory services for tree health and maintenance to New Delhi Municipal Council, Delhi Development Authority, Archaeological Survey of India, Central Public Works Department, Toligang Club Kolkata, State Forest Departments, President State Apsara Authority Cambodia, and Birla Lao Pulp and Plantation Company Laos PDR. He worked on heritage trees conservation like Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya temple, Neem tree at Sai Baba Sansthan Shirdi, Vat Vriksh at Jyotisar Tirth Kurukshetra, Rudraksh tree at Shanti Kunj Haridwar, and trees at Ta Phrom Temple, Cambodia. He traveled widely to Florida, USA, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Turkey, Macedonia, etc. He is member of many professional bodies, including Species Survival Commission of International Union for Conservation of Nature. Besides academics and research, he also has wonderful hobbies like dramatics. He won prizes in national drama competitions, poetry, playing badminton, and he was member of national team of Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, Dehradun also. It is an opportunity for the participants to gather from Dr. Harsh on the subject of his vast experience and expertise. Now, I request Dr. Harsh to please take us through the journey of fungi. Please, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for your kind words. First of all, I want to thank Dolphin PG Institute, Dr. Gupta, Director and Principal Dr. Sheljapan, Head of Department Dr. Saz Biswas, and Dr. Mandeep and other organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my experience of about more than 40 years on what you call fungi or mushrooms. I hope I'll be able to tell you something about this wonderful group of organisms. In the following slides, there are about 60 of them, and I would like to go through them quickly. And you will notice that I have a small tale or some experience with each of them. So here I go with some little background, and as Dr. Mandeep has said, that this is beautiful and mysterious world of fungi. And this slide, you can see a wonderful fungus, which I consider as one of the most beautiful mushrooms in the forest. And you can see there are plenty of them growing under. They are mycorrhizal, ectomycorrhizal with forest trees, mostly conifers as well as oaks. And I have some other stories to tell with you that I'll come to with that a little later on. And I request you just appreciate the beauty of these mushrooms or fungi as well. Uh, just a few words about biodiversity. We all know variation in all life forms within a given ecosystem, biome, or and the entire Earth. And we have many organisms, many biological species known in the world. But at the same time, this fact is that we know practically all the birds, almost all the mammals, but we know very little about the arthropods and fungi. So far, millions of insects have been described, but only about 70 to 1 lakh, 70,000 to 100,000 or 1 lakh fungi are known. That includes lower fungi as well. Here we are talking about higher fungi, mushrooms, macrofungi. And the professional, they know that there are many more to be discovered. This is an old estimate given by David Hawksworth, who is an authority on fungal diversity, that he says, and as per that estimate, it is 1.5 million species of fungi are known. This is an estimate. But recently, in 2019, he upgraded this and he said that this number could be more, somewhere around 2.5 million. But we have almost past 200 years working with the mycology, but still we know only 6 to 7% of fungi. That means there is a huge, huge potential to discover, to report, and to record. But now, when we go to the forest, as Mandeep just told you, that during this period, the monsoon season, you will encounter different shapes, sizes of mushrooms, colors in the forest floor. So they play a very important role in forest ecosystem as decomposers, augmenters, as well as pathogens. So one important thing also that they largely depend for their survival and growth on climatic factors like moisture, temperature, and nutrients. When I say climatic factors, that says that they are also under threat when we are talking about climate change vagaries and climate change conditions affecting us. So fungi would be affected in the same way as other organisms would be affected by climate change conditions. Most of the fungi, they're microscopic. Even these macrofungi or the mushrooms which we see through naked eye, their mycelium and spores, they are microscopic. They live inside the soil, litter, water, and also in close association with plants, animals, and other organisms. And this is very interesting to note that when we walk on uh, outside in field and forest, so a network of mycelium is spreading miles and miles under our feet. Morphologically, they are single cell to multicellular, macroscopic to macroscopic, and have different shapes, structures, and colors. Diversity not only between groups and genera, but also within the same species of fungi have been reported. Now I'll be sharing some of the photos with you. And first, the fungi which are exploited for commercial or consumption purposes. The first of all which comes to mind is Morcella esculenta, commonly known as morels. In Hindi, we call it gucci, one of the tastiest or delicious mushroom sought after. And you may be knowing that this is found in India, also in collected systematically in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, and as well as in Himachal Pradesh. It is also found in Uttarakhand, but not that systematic collection is reported from here. And you see this picture of a young girl. See the smile. And she is smiling because she is having a garland of morals. And she's from Himachal. And one of my friends, Dr. Ashwani Tapwal, he shared this with me. And these garlands of morals, they are then hung at home and they are dried and then later on sold. And mostly they are consumed in Western Europe, France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland. And nearly 225 tons are consumed, are under international trade. And the suppliers are India, China, Turkey, Pakistan, North America, and Eastern Europe. India and Pakistan each export to nearly 65 tons. So you can say to the international, the amount of 225 tons, nearly half is contributed by India and Pakistan. There is also an estimate that nearly 289,000 persons, they are engaged in Pakistan annually in moral mushroom hunting. And that is only during the growing season. And growing season is somewhere after, as the spring starts, April to, you can say, up to when rains starts, April to June. And sometimes also in September, October. But nearly 33% women, 27% men, and 40% children, they contribute in mushroom hunting or moral hunting. And this is a little old data, but just to show you that for the collector, it is US $50 for 1 kg. For wholesaler, it is $166. See the difference. And for exporter, it's still more, $216. And for the importer, it is $330 per kg. And as I already told that in Himachal and Jammu and Kashmir, it is also available in, Himachal and Kashmir, shown in the map with red stars. And also available online. One can go on portals like Alibaba and buy it online. This one is Termitomyces microcarpus, which is growing on a termite mound. This is one of the very, very rare scenario, rare picture in which the whole termite mound was found covered by this mushroom. This was from Mandla district in Madhya Pradesh, and there it was known as bhat pehri, bhat rice, which we eat. Pehri is for mushroom, and in taste it is, but it is very, the durability is not more, shelf life is very less, but it is found in. That's why these termitomyces, they are associated with termites. If you go into internet or search or in the literature, you'll find fungal gardens. So termites, they cultivate them. And this one, not to be go very far, in my backyard in FRI, when I was there, I found this crop of Termitomyces microcarpus growing, and it is also very delicious. Then this is Termitomyces hemi, and it is sold in the market in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, also Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. And the most distinguishing feature of this mushroom is that it has an extended, what we call as pseudorhiza, a root-like extension. And this is very, very delicious. And we have conducted a study way back in the 90s with my students, and we estimated that nearly 2.5 tons was sold in 15 tribal markets in Madhya Pradesh, and nearly trade of 25,000 rupees during 3 months from July, August, September. And this, we could say that it provides sustenance to the tribal people during the lean period when other non-wood forest products, they are not available. And believe me, in nutrition and taste and flavor, it is not inferior to morals, Gucci, but they do not get that much price in the market. And we should explore, or we should make it possible to make it more familiar and more profit working. So when I talked about the spermatomyces, then I also came across a scene, or I was told about this, that as we know that in India we worship even animals, including snakes, cobras. Nag Panchami is one of the festivals which we, I think, celebrated it earlier this month only, and in which you all know that most of my Hindu friends, they know that on this day milk is put up, and here in this picture is in from FRI campus only near Botanical Garden. You can see a diya burning here. Some milk is there, some flowers. Just to show it that the termite mounds, they are worshipped during Nag Panchami day. But what I want to tell you from tribal point of view, that in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, the tribal people, they will not collect termitomyces which grow over these termites mounds, which are worshipped. So they will not touch those which were growing on the mounds which were worshipped during Nag Panchami day. And I just interpret it as a conservation approach. Another one is this is Astrius hygrometricus, and commonly known as Puttu, Putputa in central India, Rugada in Jharkhand, and also in Dehradun, it is sold in the market for a very short period. This year it costed 500 rupees per kg. And this is a subterranean mushroom, and it is associated with conifers all in pines, particularly in Uttarakhand region and Himachal. But with sal forest, sal trees, it forms ectomycorrhizal connection, also with pines. So it is sold in the market, and when it matures, then it opens like an earth star. We call them earth star because these are the rays of the star, and this is the center body from which you can say there is a pore, and the spores, they get liberated. I have some more information about this Astrius hygrometricus to be shared little later on. And now I come to the most, what I can say at present, the most expensive fungus, Ophiocordyceps sinensis, and also known as caterpillar fungus. Here it is known as Yarcha Gambu, Yarcha Gumba, like that. And here in this picture, you can see there is an insect larva part which was mummified, and this extension is the fungal part. Here also, you can see this is Ophiocordyceps sinensis. And the picture is taken by my friend Dr. Alison Puello from Australia, who is, you will see that she's a photo artist for mushrooms. She takes beautiful pictures of mushrooms, of fungi. And when I said that this is the most expensive mushroom, and 2 years ago it was reported to sell at rupees 1.2 million, 12 lakh rupees per kg. But it is not that you find 1 kg at one place. This is a scene from Uttarakhand, high altitude and alpine. It is found in alpine meadows. People go and collect it. They crawl among the grass, and the photo was shared by my senior colleague, Dr. A.N. Shukla. And this mushroom grows in alpine meadows, 3,200 to 4,000 meter above mean sea level in Himalayas. In international market, last time it was reported to cost a US dollar 10,000 per kilogram. And the scene is that in the alpine meadows in Uttarakhand, I'm talking about Uttarakhand, then higher altitude range, the villagers who live nearby these alpine meadows, Bugyals, they go, except elderly and small children, the whole village goes, nearly 80% population with tents, beddings, and food. And to collect it when snow starts melting. Even the members of the family, if they are in job in other areas, they will take leave and come for collection because of the higher economic return. So as I mentioned, it is not that at one place 1 kg is found. Um, a person can collect 45 to 55 mummified larvae in one season. In Munshari market alone, in 2009, 90 kg of the produce was sold officially. And whereas this unofficial channel or smuggling, nearly 3.5 quintals are illegally traded from Dharchula to Nepal. In today's paper, local paper, Dainik Jagran, that is that some material of our Cordyceps sinensis has been confiscated. And earlier there was few collectors, and but now the production is reducing, and then it is also another important thing that during collection period, nearly 48,000, 50,000 employment days they are generated, who provide tea shops, restaurants, transportation of food material, etc., etc. And we all in Uttarakhand remembered in that 2013 the uh, tragedy of Kedarnath, and during the same period, cloudbursts also damaged massive landslide in higher altitudes, alpine meadows of Pithoragarh, like Chipla Kedar, which not only caused habitat destruction but also loss of life. And many of them were rescued by army using helicopters. But because there was a larger tragedy of Kedarnath, so this was not given much attention. I had been to Bhutan, and there I saw that they're being sold in a shop in Paro in these glass jars, and one piece was costing 25 US dollars. And just want to share this slide with you. Those who are interested in badminton, I play badminton. That's why this is Chong Wei Lee. He was the world champion till 2050, and he got 8 months suspension for containing dexamethasone, which was told that he got through cordyceps capsules. Cordyceps, it is a performance booster, energy booster. The sports person, they take it. So this is just to underline its importance. Another mushroom which is close to my heart is Ganoderma lucidum, known as king of herbs. Because why? I'll tell you a little later. But this is a very serious root rot pathogen in forests for trees as well as plantation crops. Trees growing in our avenues, in our roadsides. This is a very serious root rot pathogen. But the bright side is that this is known as king of Chinese traditional medicine. Lingji or Reishi, Yangji, Biladi top, like these are the names given to it. And it is nourishing, supplementing, toning, removing toxins, and it indicated in many human disorders or human diseases. And you can see that including AIDS, cancer, uh, high blood pressure, diabetes, it has been reported to be useful. And they treat more than 20 human ailments that I just mentioned about it. And nearly 5,000 tons of Ganoderma is produced. It is cultivated now. And in this world estimate, our contribution from India is not much. And the world turnover was $2.16 billion. It is found throughout India, and there is diversity also. You know, there are commercial products also available in Indian market. There is a firm DXN from Malaysia, which provide these products in the market. And you know, because they are targeting Indian market, you can see this is in Hindi, DXN ki Utpad Shrinkhala. So this is available in Dehradun or as well as any other place, or you can order it through online as well. Now, another one which is very beautiful and very delicious one is commonly known as chanterelles, Cantharella siberius. It is found as ectomycorrhizal in conifers and oaks in Uttarakhand as well as. I told you that I have something to tell you, or some tales to share with you. So when I was doing my PhD and we would go at Almora and working in a conifer forest for collection, going for collection, then we noticed that some monkeys were searching and eating and picking up something from the grass and eating. And when we went closer, then I found that it was Cantharellus siberius. And it is exported from Pak-occupied Kashmir, not from India to France, but the potential is there. And see this one. This is the huge one. And the photos were shared by a friend from Macedonia, Milan. And see the size. And both the collectors, they are very, very happy because it is delicious, edible. And see the lady who has got her collection from the forest, how happy she is. This is shared from a Facebook group in which I am a member, Mushrooms and Wild and Mysterious Seminar with Paul Stimmates. Now, I bring you back to India. This is from Northeast, from Imphal. There is a friend, Dr. Lokapuni. He shared this photo. And this macrocype titans, this one is edible. And you can see this girl is about 3 feet tall, and this mushroom is about 2.5 feet tall, and so huge. And she was unable to hold it, but this is sufficient for the whole family for more than 3 meals or so. I want to mention one point here. The larger the fruit body, the longer the time it will take to fruit. That means if this one is come out, this one has fruited this year, then maybe another one will take about more than 5 or 6 years to come again, because that much mycelium is required for its fruiting. This is known as lion's mane, found in temperate forests in India as well. Hericium erinaceus, coming from a hollow of an oak tree. And another one also, this is Hericium coralloides, again coming from an oak tree. And I just want to mention here that these mushrooms, these two, Hericium coralloides and erinaceus, they are found in old growth oak forests. And old growth oak forests, they are now diminishing. But every year they are, being removed, or they are being decomposed. So the habitat threat is there for these mushrooms. So as per IUCN criteria, we have put them in under the vulnerable category. And this is chicken of the woods. And believe me, this is the common name, chicken of the woods, but Lithoporus sulphurus in taste. And this photograph is from FRI campus, just in front of Officers Club. And I shared this information in many lectures at FRI also, that this one is edible and how I collect it and how I use it. So now, you can say, people collected before me, I reached the spot. 3 days ago, I saw a fruit body and I allowed it to grow to a larger size. Next day, I went and it was not there. So sharing some information sometimes are good, but sometimes not so good. This one is Fistulina hepatica. The name is beef steak fungus, nothing to do with beef, but it looks like a steak. So the name is given by the British. And the important thing about the occurrence of this mushroom is that it is only found in northeast of India. Assam, Mizoram, Manipur, Meghalaya, there only. So localized, and it is endemic to this region. So again, we put this under vulnerable category because it is consumed by the local people also. The threat is there. Other interesting fungi I shared with you, if you go to the forest, then you will see these beautiful cups. And I, I got tempted to use this cup to drink some water or maybe not some water. And this one, they are known as stinkhorns. The picture on the left, if you look at it, then you can see as if a lady is walking in the forest with a cap and a cape. And the name stinkhorns is stinks so much. If you are going with me in the forest and we see this, and I tell you, okay, go and touch it, and out of curiosity you will touch it, then you will regret that you ever did that, because for at least 1 week the foul smell will not go off your hand. So be careful, because the smell is so foul. But in China it is eaten, not in India. And this is these are another distinct horns. Can you see these flies over it? They finish it within a day. They come out and the flies, they finish it. They're maggots, they eat it. This one is Clathrus rubra. This one is Phallus impudicus. And this is Clathrus rubra. Beautifully, when it comes out, it is like a birth, or some chicken is coming out of egg, like that it comes out, because initially they are like eggs on the forest floor. These are puff balls, also known as puff balls, because when they mature, the spore powder inside, it comes out in the form of puff and in small clouds like that, powder. So the orange one is Rhizopogon luteolus, and on right, white one is Calvacia ciliata. They are ectomycorrhizal. They form ectomycorrhizae with the forest trees as well as with the grasses. This photo is by Allison. I could not check myself to show this photo, because this is so beautifully taken, and it shows that a spaceship has landed on the Earth. This is Earth star, because called as Earth star because of the rays. And this one is the sac in the center from which spore powder releases from this top. This is GS triple X. And another one, very beautiful one, golden jelly beans. You get tempted to put them in your mouth. And this is so fresh and growing on the twigs, dead twigs of wood. And this is pink parasols, Mycena capillaripes. And this is so beautiful pink that most of the ladies would like to have this color on their nail polish or in their lipstick. This is so beautiful. And then this is bird nest fungus, Cythus striatus. Mandeep shared this photo from her home, I think 2 days ago. And you see why this is called as bird nest fungus, because of the peridioles, which are spore-bearing structures. They are kept inside a nest-like structure. That's why the name Cythus, bird nest fungus, is Cythus striatus. And I have collected it growing on sandalwood chips in Siuni district of Madhya Pradesh. And this is another beautiful fungus, turkey tail fungus, known as commonly, but Tramatis versicolor, because of the various colors. And the photo on the left, this one, was shared by the ace photographer of the country, Padma Shri, Shri Anup Shahji. And this is medicinally very important. Now it is established that people recovering from chemotherapy, they are given a mixture of Ganoderma lucidum and Tramatis versicolor. They are taking, and benefits are being claimed. Now, this is Mycena interrupta, blue tiny mushroom. This is so small that this cap is about 1 centimeter, and the height is about 1 to 1.5 centimeter. Very small. But we have to appreciate the photographer. And this is another one, beautiful one, Antoloma hoxteteri, and it exhibits bioluminescence in night. Recently, it was shared from Odisha by one of my students, now who is working in the forest department in Odisha. And so this was the first, I saw it for the first time in India. I had seen it in the pictures, but this is from Odisha, and this shows bioluminescence. Is a small story about this bioluminescence is that way back when I was doing PhD in Nainital, then one day some people came to my professor, Professor B.S. Mehrotra, late Professor B.S. Mehrotra, and told him, sir, that there is a ghost in a tree nearby government house. There was an Aesculus indica tree, Pangar. So he sent us, me and my friend, and told that go and you will find under the dead bark of the tree the rhizomorphs of one mushroom known as Armillaria malia, which show luminescence in the night. And it was exactly so. So most of the times when people say bioluminescence in the forest or in the trees, they say, oh, there is some ghost. No, it is not ghost. There is this bioluminescence and one enzyme luciferase. It converts luciferin in presence of oxygen, and we say this, see this bioluminescence. And another beautiful one, the blue one, and this is Lactarius indigo. And again, from this same Facebook group, I have taken the liberty to share this picture. And you can see this indigo color latex coming from this, and see how beautiful it is. And this is again ectomycorrhizal with the forest trees. This one, I also wanted to share this beautiful one, Chlorosiboria aeruginescens. And I understand that some of the ladies are also there in the audience. So this blue and peacock color and all that you would like to have in your clothes, and see in the forest, you will love them, that they are spread everywhere. But only you have to have the eyes to spot them and appreciate them. And he is my student, Dr. Manoj Kumar from Forest Pathology Division in FRI. And he collected this huge fruiting body, which we reported as the largest fruiting body from India, from Kalsi, Dehradun. And it was published in Journal of Threatened Taxa in 2017. See the size. It is 151 centimeter and 1.5 meter, again like that. And this Dr. Manoj Kumar was doing PhD in Chakrata region and all that, so he collected it. And then I checked later on, this is the third largest fruiting body in the world reported. This was the photo I showed you because I liked it. This is, and I told you that this is the one of the most beautiful mushrooms. I tell them, say that. And it is ectomycorrhizal as well. But like most beautiful things, this mushroom is fatally poisonous, dangerous. And I have a little story to share. Mandeep, do I have some time? Hello?
Yes, sir, you can share, sir.
Okay.
The student, I have heard this story, but students would be fascinated to hear it.
Because I like that. This was a personal experience when I was doing a PhD in Nainital. So one day, at that period in 80s, early 80s, 1980, a gentleman came with a local person, and that period was a period of hippies. Hippies were free people living and just using everything as intoxication. So he brought one hippie to me, and for a few days he could not meet me, but he was desperate to meet me. So one fine day, and he asked for this mushroom, that where he could find it in Nainital. So since I had collected it or seen it and growing in Nainital, so I told him that you go to such and such place, you will find it. So that was that. And say after months or so, the local person who had brought that hippie to me, he met me in the market, and local market in Nainital. Now I asked him, yeah, could he collect that Amanita muscaria? So he said only one fruit body he could collect. Then I asked him, what did he do with that? He told me that he used to consume very small piece of it, and then he used to go into trance. That was hallucination. And then he would come back and consume another one. And when it was finishing, then the alkaloids and constituents, they pass in the urine. He used to collect his urine and recycle it. So that disgusted me. It still disgusts me. Then I told that had I known that he was going to use it for this, then I would never had shared the location of this mushroom. But now, recently, there are reports that with certain processing, this Amanita muscaria is used. There are other mushroom also. They are known as psychedelic mushrooms, or the mushrooms for, you can say, inducing hallucination. But the young generation is there. I warn, this is fatally poisonous. Don't use it. Don't ever use it. Why? I'll explain it little later on as well. Since I'm telling you about the medicinal, about the fungi from forest fungi, then just sharing one of the findings with my students about the ethnomycology of fungi from the forests of Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh way back in the 90s. And this is the mushroom putputa and Asteris hygrometricus, which was eaten, I told you. The spore mass is used for the treatment of burns by the tribal people. These are Bega tribes. The study was done among the Bega tribe. And they mix the spore mass with mustard oil and apply on the burn. Similarly, they do it with Bovista pedicellata. But for the treatment of wounds, the preparation is there. I just wanted to share one small incident, that this is the first medicinal mushroom which my father used for the treatment of burn when I was in class 6th. When I got burned with some hot water, he could find it growing in Almora on a wall. He brought it and sprinkled the powder, the spore, which now I know was the spore powder of Asteris hygrometricus. That time, I just could know that in Kumaon it is known as Fuski Tumri. Fuski Tumri. Fuski means that something powdery, and Tumri is something like a bottle shape or like that. Then there was this Lycoperdon pusillum and Cythus striatus and limbatus. I showed you the bird nest fungus. This is used for the treatment of conjunctivitis, redness, in which peridioles. That formulations which are being told here, this is the information which obtained from the tribal medicine man known as Ojha. And this is to stop bleeding from deep cuts and wounds. Lycoperdon pusillum is used. And this, the stinkhorn, Phallus induciatus, this is used to help in labor pains to the ladies, and as well as typhoid. The fruit bodies, they are crushed with old jaggery, gur, and water, and 1 teaspoon 3 times a day for 4 days. The dose again was shared by the tribal medicine. This is Ganoderma lucidum, I told you, and this is now being cultivated also. Some of my students, they are cultivating here it in Dehradun. And this is the first report of medicinal use of Ganoderma lucidum, which we reported in 1993. And commercial cultivation of Ganoderma lucidum in the world, in Japan, is started in 1994. This is just information. Then this is used for the treatment of cataract, asthma, and hydrocele by the tribal people. And then one is this is Chilaria polymorpha, known as dead man's finger, and this is used for inducing lactation after delivery. And the preparation, then they make the uh, tablets with old jaggery and given to the lady. And then this is microporous xanthopus, very beautiful mushroom, shiny one. And the extract is used in ear pain, fever, and vomiting. And the one, Daldinia concentrica, it is used in chronic cough. We have already reported these. My students, they had worked on it. I just want to share one thing here, that it is not very easy to extract information from the tribal medicine man. And it was actually the pursuance of my students and uh, developing a rapport. Only then they could get the information, extract that information. And it is like that. A tribal medicine man will not share his knowledge even with her daughter, because that she will go to another family. So if the tribal medicine man does not have a son in his family, then the knowledge will go with him. So it is like that. A whole library is gone. Then this is when I was doing a project in Cambodia, and for the conservation of heritage trees at Taprom Temple. That temple is known as Tree Temple. So that was that. Then when coming back, I could notice that at the duty-free shop, that this mushroom was being sold. All these packets, they are containing this, except this was Dunhill cigarette. Then you can see the wines and different types of liquors, they are being sold. So then I inquired and found that this is Phalinus lentius, and all these packets, this one packet, which was weighing nearly half a kg, was being sold at 93.50 US dollars. Like then this one is bigger one, so it was 167 or something like that. So I could see that mushroom being sold at a duty-free shop at an international airport. That was something very heartening to me. So now I'm coming towards the end of my presentation. When I attended the third conference of International Society for Fungal Conservation in Turkey, way back in November 2013, Professor David Minter, who is from KEBI, he put up this poster, and he said, orphans of Rio, he used this term for the fungi. Why? Because the decade from 2011 to 2020, just last year, it was over. It was celebrated as the United Nations Decade on Biodiversity. And if you look at this logo, then there are all organisms are there, including insects, animals, birds, plants, but no, even fish, but no fungi. So he designed this one and saying that fungi are biodiversity too. He was right, because, and he compared a list, all the nations who are signatory to CBD, Convention on Biodiversity, they are preparing a national report. India too also make a national report every 5 years. So the last report in 2009, it contained only mention of fungi and lichens only 12 times. Then this poster happened, and I also pursued, others also pursued. Then the last report, which came out in 2014 and 15, that contained 62 mentions of fungi and bacteria. And the latest report, which came in 2019, it mentions that India has a record of 27,500 species reported from India. So see the difference. It has been made by a poster from one person. And this is very recent one, which I am very happy to share. which came on in August 3rd this year. There is a movement, Rewild and IUCN Species Survival Convention became first global organization to call for the recognition of fungi as one of the three kingdoms of life critical to protecting and restoring earth. And these three kingdoms are fauna, flora, and fungi. So from here onwards, we must fight for the cause of fungi while we talk for conservation of biodiversity. At present, sorry to say, when we talk about conservation of biodiversity, we talk about tiger, we talk about some tortoise, we talk about, say, some flowers also, some butterflies also, but not of fungi, not of fungi. So make it a habit to consider. Just want to mention that Dr. Biswas, if he's listening, that there is a serious threat and many, many plants, animals, and other life forms, they are being rare and endangered. Some are already become extinct. But taxonomists, be it plant, animal, insect, fungi, mycologists, taxonomists, they are going to be rare and endangered, which I had seen over the years that very few, if I count in my country, I think there will be not more than 10 mycologists at present who are pursuing taxonomy in true sense. So this is my request to the younger generation who are listening. If you want to be a taxonomist, be it plant taxonomist, fungal taxonomist, insect taxonomist, any taxonomist, so you have to be be observant. You have to be patient with taxonomy. Don't jump to conclusion. These days we see a picture in the internet and say this is this mushroom or this is this species. That is not correct. Be prepared for failure. Many times you are working hard for identification of a species and you fail. Learn by experience. The experience, I even after 42 years of experience working with fungi, still I cannot say that I know everything about these fungi or these mushrooms. Then judgment, your personal judgment is very, very crucial while determining or deciding between two species or between different species. Then like every work, every job, you have to be devoted, you have to be dedicated. But one thing very, very important is perseverance. You need to persevere for longer time to be a taxonomist. So here are a few, just I'm coming to the end. This I had taken from the internet, maybe photoshopped or something like that. So here is this, I talked with about Amanita muscaria, the deadly fatal mushroom. So this, I had put this, the pictures are from there, but the comments are mine. Should I try this? The squirrel is asking. The bird is saying, no, no, it is poisonous. And again, this is from internet. I'm using this picture. Which one is more poisonous, the mushroom or the snake? Now, this is to ponder over. Maybe I'm talking about edible and poisonous mushrooms. So you will have this question in your mind. This is a serious statement, but also having some fun. All mushrooms are edible, but some can be eaten only once in life. That means some are fatally poisonous. And jokingly, I tell the audience many times that if you are going to try a new mushroom, a new wild mushroom, then going to eat it, then share it or tell your neighbor or your friends that you are going to eat this. And next morning, if you wake up, then tell the world that this mushroom is edible. Otherwise, your friends or neighbors will tell that that mushroom was poisonous one. This is just to warn you that you have to be very, very selective in eating or testing the mushrooms, particularly the wild ones from the nature. Because these are just to show you the sign. A bad taxonomy or bad identification can kill not only people and their pets, sometimes dogs also, or other cats. If they are going to forest and eat, they keep tasting or sniffing anything. Sometimes they eat and they get killed. Not only these, but also fungi being unrecognized, unassessed, and so unprotected, unnoticed. So many of the mushrooms will vanish. Because in the beginning, I told you that only 6 to 7% fungi we know today. Many of them being, you know, vanished, unnoticed. So effort should be made for that. But again, I'll caution, while trying to eat a wild mushroom, please take all precautions. Then this is the fairy ring of Marasmus aureus in front of Forest Pathology Division when in 2009, when I was working there. It was just outside my chamber in front of FRI building. In fact, I had read about fairy rings, say, when I started reading about mushrooms, say in BSc or MSc, since then. But only I could see this in 2009. After that, it didn't appear there. And I say, still I have miles to go. Thanks very, very much for sparing your precious time. If you have some questions, you can pass it on to the organizers. Here I end it, Mandeep. Thank you all.
Yes, sir.
I hope you like it.
Thank you so much, sir. I do not know about the students and others, but I was totally hooked to the lecture. Some of it I have seen earlier also, but every time something new is there, every time it is more fascinating. Thank you so much for such an informative talk, sir. Sir, there are a couple of questions, one of which you have already answered. First question was by somebody who's named himself Pahadi Forester, and his question was how poisonous the non-edible mushrooms are. But I think you have already answered it very, very ably about it. How poisonous it can be.
Mandeep, I just want to add here for Pahadi Forester that there are no strict rules to distinguish between edible and poisonous mushrooms. There are only thumb rules. The best ones is the mushrooms known by or being used by your grandparents, dadi, nani, जो लोग खाते थे उन्हीं को खाया जाए. Then there are some thumb rules like that. Those mushrooms which turn blue on breaking, on bruising, they should be avoided. The mushrooms which have foul smell, they should be avoided. The mushrooms which have very thick stem, they should be avoided like this. But there are no set rules, only thumb rules, and only one thing, that one should be careful. That's it from me.
Then, sir, there is a request for your presentation.
Okay, I'll provide a copy to you. You can share.
Sir, a PDF. Yes, it is from student side only, sir. A PDF, if it could be provided. Then, sir, there is one old student of yours. It seems from you have taught the person in MSc, and the name of the gentleman is Lalit Upadhyay. And he writes, nice to interact with you after more than 18 years. When I was in MSc, sir, what treatment we can apply for Ganoderma and Fusarium on Delbergia and Acacia under agroforestry plantations?
Okay, I can share with you the presentation. Just my email ID is there in my presentation. Just send me an email. I have a write-up. I'll share it with you, because right here it will be little out of context to discuss about this. But I'll certainly share it with you. Just share your email ID with me, right?
And sir, there is, yes, sir. I think Lalit ji, if you are listening, you can share your email ID here, and I will share it ahead with sir. And sir, there is a lot of thanks and eloquence coming up for you. Most of the students, as well as the faculty and senior mycologists, seem to be very, very fascinated by what you have shown them. Sir, then there is one question by Mr. Ashwin Panikar. Can we not test the fungi for the presence of poisonous content using any biochemistry test?
Yeah, yes. People, in fact, much research is being done on that outside India as well as in India. In that institute at Pune, they are working on it. In fact, they are working on poisonous mushrooms only to find the useful compounds for the treatment of human ailments. That is, the work is still going on.
If there is any other question, please ask. Otherwise, then we can close the session for sir. At least any more questions from anybody in the audience? If it is there, you can type it up in the chat, and then sir will be very pleased to answer your queries. Thank you so much, sir. It was a fascinating talk. I now request Dr. Sas Biswas, Professor and Head of the Forestry Department at Dolphin Institute, to please say a few words. And he was very keen for those few words because you have been friends for ages together at FRI.
Yes, he's my senior and a friend as well.
And then he would also sum up the lecture for all of us. Dr. Biswas, sir, please.
Yeah, whenever I do see Dr. Harsh and his presentation and works, it immediately takes me back to the chamber of the Director General of Indian Council of Forestry Research Organization way back in 1994, 95, when his earlier director, Dr. B.N. Gupta, of erstwhile director of Tropical Forest Research Institute, Jabalpur.
Yes.
He called me to have some information on biodiversity, which he wanted to deliver a lecture. Then he referred me, Dr. Harsh. And I had not seen him, but I had heard about him. No sooner he said he would be transferred here and he would, give a lot of contribution in the field of fungal biodiversity. And that is what we see today. Yes, he has reached to, I'll say, height, but as he said, there's no end to it. And a lot of works are there. And one of the most fascinating things is that while talking about the forest, he remained with his roots attached to the word of taxonomy, which is very much important, be it fungal taxonomy and like that. And now it has reached to a level that we have the another kingdom beside flora, fauna, and now it is fungi. So this, each of the contribution has got the great role of Dr. Harsh towards delivering such a fantastic, illuminating lecture. And I remember while working on, jointly working while in Forest Research Institute on tree temple, Siem Reap in Cambodia. There, while I was looking towards the identification of the trees, which remained there for over 200 years and were identified wrongly, and I found Dr. Harsh was busy in finding in the cavities of the Dipterocast forest and the fungus growing out there. So for 3 years, we had a very wonderful times, learning about each one's, area of specialization and field forestry. He highlighted in his work about the species diversity, experiences, and towards the great morphological diversity with respect to the ecosystem of fungi And then he touched upon the climate change. This is one of the most important part. Before we go for making the fungi and insects in another 40 years as our prime food, I'm telling you the insects too, we must have to conserve it. And the climate change is one of the great challenges that's haunting us. So his presentation speaks about it. Beside what Dr. Hirsch said about, and that was about the commercial exploitation. The commercial exploitation, because while learning, go for earning also. And this earning, when we talk about, in context to the forest and forestry, this becomes one of the most important one because his works show that we have got the fungi in different types of the forest and forest trees, shrubs, ecosystem as the host and as the habitat typical of the fungi. That means that we have got a great role in forestry. And you mentioned about some species, the population of which has reduced. And in present times, medicinal property and the characterization that he mentioned, giving a potential for further in-depth studies, and that is right from chemotherapy to any ailment. So this becomes one of the most important. And I find from the present presentation, this is a big eye opener, not only to the forestry sector of India and outside, but to the forest of different state departments. So these species, what we do require to make conservation, number one. Number two, we do require it to introduce among the people. The people role in conservation of these species, typical of the forest, will a very pivotal role in this particular aspects of Dr. Harsh has touched in his presentation. We are highly grateful to you giving us wonderful information beside entertaining us. And what I feel that about Amanita, the one story that you made of the hallucination or the trance. So what I feel, let's have a trance or hallucination studying about the fungi, go into the further studies. Thank you, Dr. Um, Harsh, for giving us time for such a wonderful presentation. Over to Dr. Mandeep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice words, kind words. Good to see you after a long time.
Yes, I too. I too miss. And I always miss for in a group. Your contribution in a group.
मैं
When
आपको
you
वो करो
all of a sudden you vanish from that group. Maybe you have the international assignments and you become more occupied. Over to Mandeep.
Thank you so much, Biswas sir. And from today's, before I move on to the formal closure, I have to invite Dr. Harsh home one of these days and look for that wonderful, delicious, edible fungi in the New Forest. And we will cook it together, sir, and have it.
Yes, certainly. If we find it, I'll share it.
So I will, sir. I will pick you up. One day from home and then bring you for a walk in the New Forest.
Definitely. This is, in fact, I had planned earlier a fungal foray in FRI campus. And I invited many of the students. About 18 students, they joined, and I took them around. They were all from FRI University. Maybe
sir, once the world opens up, if you will give your time, we will also invite students from Dolphin Institute and take them for a walk around the campus.
Fungi,
Yes, yes.
fungi walk, fungi
Fungal
walk.
walk. We
Yeah,
call it
fungal
fungal
walk.
foray. Fungal
Uh,
foray.
uh,
Sir, yes, sir.
Dr.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Harsh, while I was
Uh,
doing my post graduation in JB Degree College, Dehradun, uh, in graduation, and that time we were taken on bicycle to Lakshman Shet, and this is the
mhm.
time where we find lot of colorful variety of fungi.
Yes, yes. This is the right period.
I keep using his expertise. Every walk I take, I send him something. Sir, what is this? Well,
Ma'am, you can communicate to the students as well that if they encounter some and take photo and they may share with on my
yes, sir.
email or
I will
then
share
I would
your
like to learn as well as help.
I will share your numbers with the sir, with the students, sir.
Okay.
That brings us to the closure of today's lecture, and it has been a very wonderful and enthralling journey through the fascinating and colorful world of forest fungi. And before I begin with the formal vote of thanks, I request all participants to please fill up the feedback form, the link for which is being shared with you in this in the chat. So please do not forget to fill up the feedback form. The certificate will be issued to you within this week. Coming back to my assigned duty, on behalf of the Forestry Department and the Dolphin Institute, I extend my heartfelt gratitude and sincere thanks to the distinguished speaker for the day, Dr. NSK Harsh, who has delivered such a wonderful and a pictorial talk about the forest fungi. I'm sure all of those who were present here today would have benefited a lot from it and would take home with them a profound love for fungi. Also here I forgot to add, but I would like to add here that Dr. Harsh showed slides for Ganoderma and talked about its cultivation. I would like to mention Sir is one of the pioneers in India to promote cultivation of Ganoderma lucidum and disseminate the technology, especially on the waste wood, poplar, if I am right, sir,
Yes.
to the entrepreneurs. I sincerely thank Chairman Dolphin PG Institute, Dr. Shri Arvind Gupta, Dr. Shelja Pant, Principal of the Institute, Dr. Arun Kumar, Director of the Institute, for providing the necessary infrastructure and support for organizing today's lecture, and also for their constant encouragement for all events organized by the Department of Forestry. I take this opportunity to thank Professor Dr. Sas Biswas, head of the Department of Forestry of the Dolphin Institute, for his constant guidance and encouragement in whatever we plan to do. And also for effectively summing up and adding value additions for to today's webinar lecture. I'm also very, very thankful to all faculty and student participants who have joined us here from different parts of the globe and of the country to attend this lecture today. I would fail in my duty if I do not thank the help and support of Dr. Ashish Raturi, head of the physics department at Dolphin Institute, for his support and skills in making this webinar live on YouTube. Thanks due to Dr. Sandhya for the inaugural comments. No program can be success with the efforts of a single person. So last but not the least, my heartfelt thanks to the team Forestry. Dr. Sandhya Goswami, Dr. Anil Unyal, Dr. Tahir Nazir, Dr. Rashmi Chamoli, Dr. VPS Rawat, and Mr. Manish Kumar for their contributions and efforts in making this event a success. I'm sure each one of us, when we go back from this lecture today, will be a little more sensitized towards the fungi and their conservation. And next time when we walk through forested areas and encounter the beautiful fungi, we will recall the stories that have been so effectively told to us today by Dr. Hirsch. Even if one of us, the young people who are here, I will not say one of us, the older generation, even if
No, no,
one
no.
of the, sir,
We
you
are
are
not
ever
old.
young.
You
So
are
even
you are
if,
younger. I'm young.
so if the youngest of the young, they who are logged in today, even if one of them takes up the field of fungal taxonomy and is encouraged to come into the field of fungal taxonomy, it will be a benefit for the world of science as well as for all of us. And with that, I wish you all a great day ahead. And please fill up the feedback link. And thank you so much, everyone, one and all. Have a good day ahead.
Thank you. And for Dr. Biswas, I say that I am a teenager of 1970s. Thank you.
Good. That's true.
Yes. Okay. Have